joining me on Terror Machine. This is going to be a new type of reading. This is actually a new presidential reading. So I'm going to throw this out before the swearing in of the president. And this reading is reflecting more of people's attitude than anything. So let me go ahead and get these cards shuffled to see how most people is feeling or what energies is surrounding people at this time. Isolation, guilt, complacency, and quest. Okay. And I am using my chakra aura cards. And then I will go ahead and pull some tarot cards for each of them. Isolate. Let's start with isolation. After the 20th on, it's gonna be a large segment of people, no matter what you believe in or what political lines you fall into, they're gonna feel like they're gonna be isolated or left out of obtaining something, getting something. They feel like their words that they gonna be expressing in public is going to be left out or cast out and not taken into consideration when it comes to their personal needs or their personal wants or personal goals that they have in mind when something new changes over and the old system of how stuff is done is kind of junked away, and we brace for something new to come in and we try to readjust to these new changes. But it's going to be a majority of people feeling like no matter where they place themselves no in their lives or how they deal with other people, that they're placed on their own individual island and left to sort of their own devices to make way or to make understanding of what is going on around them. The second card you have is guilt. So as everything is said and done and everything starts to progress forward, there is going to be a segment of people that feel guilty about making certain decisions. And I want to say certain decisions in the past or certain decisions on the way they viewed something or the way they were pulled in a certain direction to make a choice. They gonna feel that they should have analyze stuff better, and this could be on voting, this could be on how they deal with other people, the old moves that they did. They just feel guilty that they should have took more time or analyzed stuff more better or set up something more productive in their life, and they're feeling guilty about when everything moves forward. They gonna feel guilty about that mainframe or that mindset that they have expanded on. The third card you have is complacency. So complacency is that you get people that they feel they are at the place they need. Maybe you need to practice. Some people may have to practice complacency to see where they is fitting at or to reanalyze something. Maybe the the decisions that they made was based on complacency, that they didn't want to see something change, they didn't want to see something move forward. They were self-contained or selfish when it came to what they had and didn't think about it on a broader level or a broader vision or a broader way of introducing something new into the fold. So, and complacency can come in different ways when it comes to a individual start. Complacency is usually they don't want nothing to tamper with what they have, so they stay very neutral or in and out of a situation. They try to not be in a situation. They kind of be in a situation to the point that they playing the neutral character in it, and they don't let people see that. They kind of make it to a point that they're being undercover with their thoughts or whatever, because within complacency means that you are satisfied of what you have, and somebody else, how they live is whatever, or how they get theirs is whatever, long as it's not messing with mine. So basically, and the last card you have is a quest card. So it's time for people, no matter what place they is in their life, it's time for them to search out something new. And it's either that is going to be forced on them to search for something new to find their place, or it is to a point that they're going to have to set themselves on the path to obtain something that they visually pushed in the back of their mind and didn't think about bringing it forward. And you may have to do that from the 20th on, is to find your individual niche, because quest is equaled as a goal, but it's also finding a individual niche based in the world around you. You may have to find an individual niche for you to move forward to obtain some kind of goal, or to try to bring some complacency that you can be happy at the status you at without feeling guilty, or not isolating yourself to the point that you're not being heard. So let me go ahead and get some tarot cards on top of this. I'm going to go ahead and use my zombie deck on this one, because I haven't used it in a while. I think I stopped using it in Halloween, so let me go ahead and just use it. We're going to start with isolation real quick and see what the isolation, why people is from the 20th on is going to have a feeling like they're being isolated in some form of fashion. So let me go ahead and see what comes about from it. Okay, the first card you have is the Ace of Hazards, and this deck is the Ace of Pentacles. So basically, this isolation is coming is that people is going to feel like they have no new option on attaining some kind of abundance in their life, or putting themselves on a path to attain something physical in their internal world that they can use as a benefit, or use it as a benefit for those around them. They gonna feel like those doors are shut on them, or something is not being presented to them that they can take advantage of to make a physical change in their environment. The second card you have for the isolation is Hangman. The Hangman upright. The Hangman upright means that a lot of people within this isolation period is going to start weighing the pros and cons on certain things in their life. No matter what they're trying to weigh the pros and cons on, it sometimes is with this being this type of reading, it's saying that you weighing the pros or cons on how you're moving into the future, what directions you're taking, and where you was in the past. And you're going to see, reanalyze, some people are going to reanalyze their life to see what negative stuff that they attain and what positive stuff they're going to try to move to. And the last card you have in this row is the Page of Swords in reverse. So the Page of Swords is usually somebody younger, but in this reading, it doesn't have nothing to do with age because this is a reading that's just being put out there for people of different ages. It's just saying that words are being used, or you're going to run across people that will have negative words either towards you, towards anything. They use it as a sort of like a catapult to your downfall, basically. And you're going to, within this isolation, a lot of people is going to run into that people is going to start throwing negative shade, even if you're trying to move yourself out of that situation. Let's go to guilt right now. You got the Seven of Pentacles. So people with guilt and Seven of Pentacles is showing me that people, when the new presidency come in, everybody hopes that they get something as a benefit if something body new comes in. The one thing about it is people with the Seven of Pentacles, people are analyzing what they have now, what has been set up for them, and what they can obtain at a later time that they can use physically in their realm. Most people is thinking more on a family base, or what they set up for their family and what the old presidency brought them for their family via versus somebody new coming in. So it's more of taking stock of what is the difference between these two parallels that you're dealing with when it comes to a financial thing that you want to attain in your personal realm. You have the five, the next card you have is the Five of Swords. So basically, with the Five of Swords, is showing that people, based on this guilt, you're not letting, most people are not letting the petty arguments bother them. They being somewhat, I want to say, blanked out to it. They just not going to focus on that. Even if they feel guilty about it, they're not going to they're not going to bring their guilt to public, because they know that's going to bring them some arguments or considerations. So most people is basically going to be silent on their guilt on whatever choice they made. The last card you have is death. So with guilt and death in reverse, what is showing me is that basically whatever you was hoping to happen, I'm gonna be really honest, it's not going to happen. But I'm going to put it out there. It's not going to happen. You may have hoped that by you making the decision and feeling guilty about it, that it was going to bring this new type of death to a personal situation, or you was hoping that you can take harvest into something that somebody promised you, or something that lured you, or something that you can obtain on it. But the real deal is you're about to get the same of the same. It is what it is. I have to read the cards the way they are. Let's just see what complacency brings you. Complacency, you have the high priestess and the upright. High priestess meaning, with this, in this complacency, it's time for you to start using your internal intuition when it comes to certain situations of how you place yourself going from the 20th on. You is saying that you're going to have to rely more on your internal instincts to materialize something, or to bring something into your realm that you feel that could work for you. You're going to have to be real discerning and trusting yourself when you go and move in that direction. Let's see what the second card you have. You have the King of Wands. So that's what that's on me is, once you use your internal intuition, you're going to have to kick your drive up to a point that it is just on overamp. You just gonna have to come up, get the information that you need. You're gonna have to kick your drive up and move forward to do what you have to do to make sure your eternal space is comfortable, or you is complacent with whatever you brought into your physical realm. But it's saying that your drive will have to be kicked up to a full amp from the 20 on, and you have to be mindful about it because you got the king of swords and the upright. You're gonna have to be mindful when it comes to you having these actions. You're gonna have to be mindful. You're gonna have to learn how to deal with other people, even if you don't want to deal with them. You're gonna have to learn how to place your words in such a way that you're gonna have to learn how to bring a benefit to you. Use your intuition and put that drive behind it, so you can complete. So most people can create their own complacency, and that's basically their own satisfaction from the 20th on. Let's look at Quest. Quest is you got the nine of swords upright. So on this quest that you're trying to find or achieve, what it's saying is that it's going to have you worried and discouraged, and it's going to have you up at night. It's going to have you going going to try to analyze all the information you getting. You're going to try to, and it's just going to have you at a state of anxiety. It's going to have you in a state because you're trying to find your own footnote in the world as of the 20th on. Okay, you have the three of wands in the upright. So the three of wands in the upright is saying that on this quest that you're going, is, to me, three of wands means multiple directions. So you may have to set your foot out on multiple directions to obtain. It's like throwing 10 things out to hope for four of them to come back in. And that's the way most people's attitude, or when they want something or they want some specific change that's going in their life, that's what they want to do. They want to throw out as many options as it is, for at least some of them is going to come back to them. So that's what it seems like within this quest, that you're trying to find a footnote to obtain certain things in your life. You're going to have to throw out multiple things just to see what can boomerang back in your life, so you can take it and be on a better level as the 20th forward. And the last card you have is the world. So the world is basically, this one is in flames and is backwards. So basically, it's telling me is that it's not going to be no sudden change. These changes is going to roll out real slow, but when they roll out real slow, you can catch them as they running. And it says that if you're throwing multiple options out there and you concerned about how things are shifting, is what it's saying is you're going to have to throw them out there, kind of stop worrying about them, just throw them out there, and don't be in such a rush to make a sudden change. Let everything kind of play out, see where it's going, and see where you can take it to, and have more control over your physical world. Don't just let something come at you and you deal with it as it goes. It's saying take the rim, because it's time for people after the 20th to um, take control of their own individual worlds, or what they created for themselves, or what they create and they consider what their individual space is. So I hope you like this reading. Go ahead and hit subscribe. I know I'm about to get a bunch of comments up in the bottom box of it, so go ahead and leave them at the bottom, and you can thumb the video up or down, and I'll talk to you later.